Hey Raven, guess what?
Can it wait? I'm trying to hang up our new pride flag.
I got some news. We're going to be doing a live show at the Pittsburgh Cannabis Festival.
I know. We've been talking about it on the pod. Are you going to help me hang this flag? I'm struggling to get it even.
Well, we got some new information.
That's nice. Now, are you going to help me or not?
The event's going to be presented by Terrapin.
Wait, Terrapin? They got some really good strains. I love their lemon G. It's really good for those stressful days.
Yeah, and their Double Bear stuff's really good too. I don't think I could have dealt with the food industry without their Primal Punch cartridge to help anxiety.
Well, what else is going on the day of the event?
The event hopes to highlight all the utilities of cannabis, from medical use to industrial use of hemp, for things like plastics, paper, and even clothing, to bioremediation and sustainability. There are even educational presentations on the bud stage for things like using cannabis to help trauma from a biopsychological perspective, how some cannabis vapes are made from supercritical CO2 extraction, and veteran advocacy, to name a few.
That's really cool, especially the veteran ones, since me and a lot of my family enlisted in the military. But is it all going to be educational?
No, there's going to be some fun with the advocacy to help normalize cannabis. Some bands are going to be playing, such as Truth and Rights, a Pittsburgh local reggae band, Sierra Sellers and Clara Kent, two R&B soul artists, and Manny's going to open for Clara. There's also going to be a pop-up yoga class that people can join in on, guided by Yoga 6 from South Hills, as well as a midday meditation on the solar stage.
Wait, are there going to be tables? And what about food? Isn't this a festival?
Of course there's going to be tables and food trucks. There's going to be a wide range of food trucks to satisfy all of your cravings. Tacos, Korean food, ice cream, and so much more. Plus live glass blowing, different CBD boutiques, and glass shops selling CBD bath bombs, edibles, lotions, oils, vapes, rolling papers, pipes, you name it. Even Curated Flame, the dope Pittsburgh glass shop, is the official cone sponsor, and we'll have some pre-rolls for the first 50 people to show up to the event.
The glass blowing sounds really cool. Do you think they'll make something for me?
Of course, who wouldn't want to see a one-of-a-kind piece get made right in front of them?
I have some friends that would love to volunteer. How could they do it?
Very easily. All they have to do is email the event planners at info@pittsburghcannabisfest.com. It's a great way to build a space for the Pittsburgh cannabis community.
Well, when and where is it so I can make sure I have it in my phone?
It's August 14th from noon to 5 p.m. at the Allegheny Commons Park North Side.
Awesome. Now, if you would, love, help me put this flag up. I can't feel my arms anymore.
This is Smoking Out the Closet. Now, here are your hosts, Alex and Rayven Greer.
Hi, I'm Raven. I use she, her pronouns.
Hi, I'm Alex. I use they, them pronouns.
So welcome back to another episode of Smoking Out the Closet. For those of you who are new or joining us, and I deeply apologize for forgetting to do this every week, we are a queer podcast that talks about the intersectionality of the cannabis and LGBT communities and everything in between. So welcome.
Welcome.
Do you want to start with what we're smoking on today?
Absolutely. I was so excited about this strain, and when you said you brought it home, I got so excited. I was like, we're smoking that. I want that.
So this is another one of the employee aids I've gotten recently from the grow processor Strane, owned by Holistic Farms. It is called Ghost Candy.
And oh my gosh, is it so sweet? It tastes sweet.
It is very sweet. It's kind of a slight skunky taste to it, though.
Yeah.
Very dry mouth inducing for me.
Yes.
But it's a nice mellow high. We know it's very high in limonene. The breakdown on the strain will actually be in the not the show notes, but in the Instagram for those of you who follow us on Instagram, or Cannabuzz. These will be on the weekly review cards that I do.
But it's very much, it says it's an indica lineage, which it does have like the body feeling of an indica. It's a very nice pain reliever, but it doesn't leave you groggy.
Mm-hmm.
Because that limonene is a nice uplifting terpene that allows you to, like, if you have to sit at a desk and do some work or stuff like that, you're going to be able to focus.
It's good business high.
Yes, very nice business high, in fact.
I'd give it a 3.8 out of 5. It's not high enough up there to be like in the 4 range for me, just because of the flavor profile kind of pulls it back, but mostly it just kind of, after you smoke it, it's just kind of like, There's not a whole lot, for me at least, the residual medical effects for me that aren't as strong as like some of the other strains we've had
Mm.
on the show. It's just kind of like, cool, I feel really nice while I'm high, but once that high is gone, what's left? You know what I mean?
See, I don't know. It works. This is how everybody's, chemistry and stuff is
Mhm.
different. For me, I have a nice, like, I get hyper afterwards. Like, I feel like I have energy afterwards. And I think it's because it does relax away for me those muscles and, like, those aches and stuff. And then I'm just like, all right, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to, like, tackle a task or, like, play a video game and, like, kind of shut that other part of my brain off to enjoy whatever I want to do. Like,
Well, that also is like you have ADHD.
I do have
and
ADHD,
don't.
and you don't. So that's also probably why this strain is different for me. I rated it a 4.5. It is really, really nice. The high is nice. The taste for me is something nice and different because it's a fruity, but it's not a lemon. Like I
Mhm.
always get a lemon because of the limonene and everything. This is it just tastes sweet. Like you're sucking on honeysuckle kind of.
Now, I will say we've had candy while using the strain, and it pairs really
Oh my God,
nice,
it
which
tastes
is another
amazing.
higher thing of why I rated it higher than what I like, higher than a 3.5. I feel like it'd be really good for like making infused candy. It'd be a really good strain for that. Like I'm thinking of like
Yes.
rock candy specifically.
And I told you this whenever we smoked yesterday. This would make a really nice RSO because RSO has a different. It's more of like a soft high. I don't know, like the edges are buffed out, so you don't have as low of lows if you're having a bad high or as high as like paranoia.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of rounds everything out. It's a nice longer lasting high. I feel like this strain would make a great RSO.
It would.
And like definitely putting it in some candies, putting it in some gummies, like even like infusing it into a really sweet drink or like putting it in a like fresh fruit smoothie. Like, we got fruit when we got grocery shopping today.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
Yeah, it would be really good. Like especially with like a honey glaze kind of mix there. Do you want to start the first topic, or do you want me to start the first topic?
Yeah, you start first.
Me? Okay. So in recent news, if you haven't found out or been on Twitter a whole lot lately, the Last Prisoner Project is under some fire recently. We support the Last Prisoner Project here. They're really good, and some of these allegations didn't make sense to me, so I did some digging. So a former employee by the name of Craig Cecil, who was one of the organization's success stories of getting out of jail. And I'm not saying what they do or what they say they do is bad, because they have gotten a few people out, but these allegations going around Twitter and other social media sites have been kind of putting him in the bad limelight. So I wanted to get down to the brass taxes and trying to contact people and figure out what all is going on. So how it started was on Facebook, a cannabis cook guru, as she describes herself, Sherry Sicard, talked about Craig on a Facebook post on her her own social media side. She had allegedly asked him to share his story, and he said yes. To quote, Craig was shocked when he learned, or was shocked that while he was briefly employed as in the Last Prisoner Project, he learned that they are against legalization. Craig said he was forbidden to even speak about it when he was given speeches. He was surprised that I, Sherry, was not shocked at this, and that I already knew much about much of the industry lobbying against legalization. In order to protect their monopolies, they certainly do not want you to grow your own. End quote. We've talked about the fact that big MSOs are not the best people. MSOs, if you didn't catch that episode, are multi-state operators. Think like True Leaf, Terrapin, Verano, Jushi Holdings, Planet 13. Well, some of them are good. Like I do like Terrapin, and they do a lot of good stuff. Some like Planet 13 are not the greatest.
No. Or like, isn't Mad Men an MSO?
Yeah.
They're the one that comes to mind as like, they're not great.
They're only in like 2 or 3 states, though, to be fair. I think they're under the Planet 13 umbrella.
Oh, okay.
I think. I don't remember. Someone will correct us on that.
Yeah, somebody please do correct us.
Sherry continues with, quote, but as the Last Prisoner project is funded by the quote-unquote industry, they would not allow Craig to speak up about legalization, end quote. So here's what I know, and I will be updating y'all as I get more information as the story unfolds, see what I can find. I emailed Natalie Papillon. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. I believe it is Papillon because it's spelled the same way as the dog in the French word for butterfly.
Okay.
Who is the director of strategic initiatives at the Last Prisoner Project. Again, I am so sorry if I mispronounced your name. I do that a lot because I read them, but I don't know how it's pronounced.
I can't even help out because I've studied some languages and French was not one of them. So,
well, I know that it's French for butterfly, but some people will pronounce it the French way. Some people will have there's an American loanword version. I just don't know what she prefers.
Gotcha.
Anyway, the email starts with a thank you and an immediate response about my questions about the Facebook allegations. Quote, the Last Prisoner Project is unequivocally pro-legalization, which includes being against any measures that attaches criminal penalties to things like home grow. That was interesting was because when people started instigating or asking the Last Prisoner Project things on Twitter, like Chris from the Honey Hive Collective, Brian Brox Brown, who's a huge cartoonist that is pro-cannabis, even in some newspapers. I think he's in the Arizona State paper. Asked questions to the Last Prisoner Project, and that was almost word for word what they tweeted, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
And that post was made on July 30th this year. Natalie continues with, quote, we have never told employees not to speak up about legalization or home grow protections. In fact, we encourage the opposite. We regularly ask employees to participate in panels, do interviews, go on podcasts, etc. Sorry. She went on to talk about how we can Google her and any of the other team members, and we can find videos of them being interviewed and everything. Steve DeAngelo, who is co-founded the Last Prisoner Project with Andrew DeAngelo, which I think they're a father-son team. Just judging by the age difference, but that doesn't really mean anything. He has interviews whenever he wants to bring someone on, or they're in a different organization, like Natalie was part of something else, and then eventually got brought on because of her work helping people in the previous organization she worked in.
Yeah.
You could see those videos and their thought processes and everything. And at first I thought these were all higher ups, but when I looked, they're pretty much everybody that's on their breakdown of their team, their supporters and all that. That's everybody that works there. They are a big organization run by a small team. That makes sense. It's not like UNICEF where it's got thousands of employees.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It's more like a local women's shelter, and that's just that shelter. They're not connected to any other women's shelter. They're just that team, but they serve the entire Pittsburgh area.
Yeah.
For a hypothetical example.
Yeah.
But that's what it's kind of like. They're, huh?
Ow! I cracked my ankle.
But they're a decent. I wouldn't say they're small, but they're not hundreds of employees. It's kind of a couple, maybe 30 at most.
Okay.
And a lot of the big names for it, Jim Belushi, like I said, Steve and Andrew D'Angelo, Damien and Stephen Marley, who are Bob Marley's sons.
Yeah.
Laganja Estranja, just to name some big people that we know.
Yeah.
I've been very vocal about growing and home grow and everything. And people will say, well, Jim Belushi has his own farm and grows and sells cannabis. Yes, he has his own farm, but he knows it's medicine. You can go on Weed and Grub, and there's an episode where he talks to them about how he went on an ayahuasca trip and actually learned how to confront the demons of his grief after losing his older brother.
Wow.
And he really believes in having cannabis as a medicine. There goes Bear playing with a toy. But even if he is making money off of it, I could see him being one of those people like, hey, I'll sell clones.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it was very confusing for me to be able to be like, okay, seeing all these big name people, knowing their history, knowing what they do, knowing, you know, who they are, why would they tell someone not to talk about it? Now, I messaged Sherry on Instagram. She told me it's better just to ask straight from the horse's mouth. So she gave me Craig's email. And I emailed Craig. And Craig only wanted to conduct everything via phone calls, which we did not have the time to do before recording this episode.
Yeah, because of the way that our schedules are.
And I told him I wouldn't be able to call him until the day of recording our podcast. I let him know, hey, if you want supporting documentation, if you have any paperwork, like proof of text messages, emails, I can get that stuff out there.
And then you would think you'd want a paper trail. You sent me screenshots of these emails, and I'm like, what? Why is he acting so, like, off the wall? It was weird.
It was very weird. Kind of like, I was worried that someone was using Craig's email or a fake email for Craig, because it didn't seem like it sounded like just very off the wall, like someone else.
Yeah,
even though I don't know Craig, it seemed very sketchy to me. And eventually, because I said we're a podcast group, and even though we do have high contacts on Twitter, like Brian, who's reported stuff about like Curaleaf's like issues with the tip stealing, Craig eventually said he was out. And refused to have further contact with us due to this needing to be in a quote-unquote investigative reporting arena.
Which we are doing as reporters for our podcast.
Yes.
With our audience and our reach to be able to bring this to light. I don't understand. Yeah, that we came to the conclusion it must be just like bad blood between an old employee and I don't know, it doesn't seem to have a lot of footing.
Yeah, and I don't say, I am not 100% saying that, you know, the Last Prisoner Project didn't tell him. There might have been just a big miscommunication thing. To give the benefit of the doubt, I'm not saying what the Last Prisoner Project does is good or bad. I still support them personally because I've seen the successes. They've gotten, like, I think 3 people out this year alone out of jail. And they're starting to, that's like slowly getting more and more as they get more stuff. The thing is, I don't see them doing stuff as much like the Weldon Project, where I can never remember his first name, but Mr. Weldon literally was on the Senate committee for the federal government talking about what we need to do to help support Chuck Schumer's bill, what, you know, getting people out of jail looks like. Now, I could be wrong, and I just happened to see Mr. Weldon because I was scrolling through the internet, and I didn't have enough time to actually check if the Last Prisoner Project did that. But if they are still doing that, if they are talking to like government and they are talking to the federal government, because I think Steve D'Angelo would do that. He's done that before. That, I think, is still good to do. Now, are there going to be like MSOs, big corporate people donating their money to these people so they can get a tax write-off? Of course. But it's a difference between, say, like Dispensary X donates to them, but Chick-fil-A donates to anti-LGBT organizations, senators, convergent therapy camps. So, like, that speaks more volume because at least they are trying. So I'm not going to say that they didn't tell Craig. From my understanding of what I can see from the lack of evidence there is, it seems like there was a miscommunication and it just became a bad blood situation.
Yeah.
Because what I could tell, from what it seems like, hey, I got told I couldn't talk here. Okay, why couldn't you get talk there? Did you ask why? Like, maybe it was not an opportune time to talk about XYZ when you're talking about ABC in front of the Senate, because those things are very important. You have to stick to like your docket. Can't really veer off track super much when you're talking to the federal government.
Yeah.
So I think it's something like that. Again, just theory. I don't know 100%. Do you have a topic?
I do have a topic. So I have a cat trying to get on my lap right now. A bear. Avoid. So I was just scrolling through while I was working, and I found this article about a about a small town library in Jamestown, Michigan. Is at the risk of shutting down now after residents voted to defund it rather than to tolerate certain LGBTQ themed books in the library. I got this article from The Guardian. As of recording, it was published about 4 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And the library is left with funds through the first quarter of next year. But once those reserve funds are used up, it would be forced to close. First, beforehand, I think, I had another note here. The board just refused to pull books, as I personally feel like they should.
Yeah, it's a public library. You're gonna have to have everything.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. It's another like form of censorship.
It is.
It's ridiculous. Like every single year that I was, a library advocate, like a library aide in high school, I was all about Banned Book Week. I set up our display. I had lists that people wanted to look through. I had where you could find it and stuff, and like alphabetical order. I printed everything off for them.
And it's not like they're peddling like gay literotica. It's not like smut. It's not like Playboy magazines for gay people. It's literally just like, hey, this kid. It's like let me guess. Jazz. I Am Jazz was probably on the shelf, which I Am Jazz is a story about a transgender child discovering who she is.
Let's not get ahead. We're getting way ahead of where I had us. But just right off the bat, I think this is ridiculous. And then number two, it's taking away a vital resource to the community.
Mm-hmm.
If this is, taking this as it is right now, before we get into like the meat and bones of it, you're taking away a vital resource to the community. Not only are libraries sources of books and loans, they do ebooks. Some of them have textbooks, college level textbooks to lend out. Some of them, the historical societies use them to keep track of newspapers.
Mm-hmm.
There is free Wi-Fi. There are computers for people to use that don't have internet access at home, for the homeless people to try to find jobs and everything and resources. This is important. And this is like the backbone of every single small community.
I mean, hell, libraries are the backbone of every society, I would argue, because that's the knowledge center of your society.
Exactly. And this is just petty. This is petty to another level, and is ridiculous. They were also quoted: "Our libraries are places to read, places to gather, places to socialize, places to study, and places to learn. I mean, they're the heart of every community." Deborah Mikla, executive director of the Michigan Library Association, told The Guardian. So how can you lose that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm starting to tear up. I am very passionate about this.
Yeah, I know.
1 second, I need to get a drink real quick. This ghost candy. I think it's worse than the lemon juice. It's the limonene. The limonene does that. Whew. I actually have the picture of it's like a clip from, I'll show it to you. It's like a clip from their scanned documents that they have to keep for all the town meetings and stuff. These are the notes from the meeting. Amber is the name of the current library head director. In June of 2021, an LGBTQ Pride Month display concern was brought to the library board, resulting in a ruling that the board must approve of any new display, so pass it through the community before it gets put up. Apparently, some people took offense to it. People take offense to Pride every year. It's nothing we're not used to at this point, but still kind of ridiculous. It's 2022. Come on. Well, it's 2021, but still.
Yeah, so you're in the 21st century. Catch up.
Come on. And then early November of 21, it was brought to the attention that the book Gender Queer was placed in the library. And that's what started all of this. The book they said the book is pornographic. It displays, quote, graphic frontal nudity, descriptive sexual wording, etc. It is written by a non-binary person. A memoir by Maya Kobebe, a graphic novel about the author's experience coming out as non-binary. I very much apologize if I butchered your name. I probably did, and I'm so sorry. From one NB to another, I am very sorry. But it is it's about their journey. Mm-hmm. And that is, first of all, it's nonfiction. So, and this is placed in the adults section of the library.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't understand.
But you can get National Geographics of that same library that depict like, you know, full frontal nudity of like, you know, native populations back, you know, how many hundreds of years ago.
Exactly. I don't understand. And then mid-November, a formal complaint was then made. So the early November is when it was brought up.
Mm-hmm.
And then mid-November, there was a formal complaint. December 9th of 21, a special meeting was called in reference to the book. Then late in January of 22, the library budget had changed twice, allowing for more law expenses from $800 to $5,000. It was also said that the fees were being used for Amber to work with legal counsel to write new board policy, giving her the final say in all new book purchases at the Patmos Library, so that she could put whatever books felt needed to be in the library. February 2nd of 22, new books were then added for kids: 2 transgender, 3 bisexual, 3 lesbian, and 8 gay books. For adults, there were 5 transgender books, 18 bisexual, and 20 lesbian, and 25 gay. You're trying to get, what it looks like is you're just trying to get representation.
Yeah, which is good.
And somebody got their panties in a wad. And I believe our community should know about the situation to be able to show disapproval and speak out against these evils. The next library board meeting is Monday, March 14th at 6 p.m. We need representation there, and also as an opportunity to speak. So it's like a flyer that somebody took the notes, because they're public record, from the library, put them on this flyer, and then posted it, and it was literally like propaganda of like the library is trying to turn people gay. Bullshit.
What?
And so many people from this community came and sat at the fucking meetings because they actually legitimately got pissed off about this.
What happened to separation of church and state?
And I'm just like, can you, what? What the fuck?
It is, so that's like saying, oh, we can't have like the thinker, or like the Vitruvian Man by Leonardo I almost said DiCaprio. I'm that high. Leonardo da Vinci, because you can see his balls.
It's
so
small light in all of this to pull the reins back from that frustration. The library said no. They said shove it. They're not getting rid of these books.
Good.
But an anonymous letter then went to homes in the community. I'm thinking like people in like those fucking what the heck are those masks that
talking about the eyes wide shut mask for like king scenes?
V for Vendetta.
Oh, Guy Fawkes?
Yes, the Guy Fawkes mask, throwing fucking like envelopes in people's like mailboxes. But for this area, they obviously don't know anything about that movie and they're using shit wrong.
Or even who Guy Fawkes was IRL.
This is the irony of the whole thing. But they're sending out these like anonymous letters stating how quote unquote pornographic the memoir and the addition of quote transgender and quote gay books to the library, and how it was a negative influence on the community. So literally like fear-mongering bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
So all of these people came and sat on these fucking board meetings and they had to listen to them and their vote had to count because they were at these fucking meetings, right?
Yeah.
And this fired a lot of people up and they started coming in. Residents would ultimately vote 62% to 37% against a measure that would have raised the property taxes by $24 in order to fund the library. Even as they have approved similar measures to fund the fire department and to fund road work in the area. I'm so sorry, my voice is cracking.
No, you're good. You're good.
Oh my goodness.
It's sickening and like so. You're gonna be so petty and so uptight about your own beliefs that you think people who are happy, healthy relationships, getting representation that we've fought for years to get, you're gonna shut down an entire heart of a community and a knowledge center. You're no better than the Nazis.
At this point, this is Fahrenheit 451 bullshit.
It is.
And this is what we try to avoid. Because next, they're going to have, this is the town that's going to start this bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to have firefighters who are going to come set the fires to where these books are at in the community.
Yeah, because
you better believe that they're not, if they get pulled from the library, you know what happens to those books? They're supposed to be thrown away. But you know what's going to happen with those librarians? They're taking them home.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how we get Fahrenheit 451. Does nobody read this book?
It's sickening.
That was also on the challenge book list, by the way.
Yeah.
Because of the content of that book.
Yeah, because it warns people about what's going on in this nation right now. It's warning people of the censorship that different political, dictatorial, authoritarian regimes, like the Nazi Party, like Mussolini's Italy, like the Roman Empire, when they didn't agree with something or if something called them out, they got rid and censored these things. It's happened loads of times before in myriads of ways and myriads of empires and groups and dictators. And that is the biggest thing that pisses me off is we're repeating history yet again.
These things were supposed to be a warning, not a fucking playbook.
Exactly. And that's why Fahrenheit 451 is so important. It is a warning of what this authoritarian censorship could look like. And people don't realize that. Or they do realize that and they censor that so no one can call them out on their shit because they take away that knowledge. How are they going to know better?
See, and this is why banned and challenged books are so important. This is why banned book week. I've been slipping. I haven't been keeping the track of when banned book week is because usually banned book week I try to pick up a banned book and read it every single year.
My thing is if you're gonna ban a book, ban it for obviously going too far in the obscene, but you can literally buy books at Barnes & Noble that talk about, they're literotica, but they basically come with a trigger warning because some of the content actually, gives people flashbacks and shit. Mm-hmm. But they're on the shelves.
I'm thinking of one specific Stephen King book, and I can't remember what the fuck it is, but I can't read it because literally the opening chapter is a very strong trigger. I'm not going to say anything because I'm not going to trigger anyone or myself. It's a super strong trigger. I tried to read the book. I can't read it. Apparently the movie's really great. I can't read it either. Gerald's Game. That is the name of the book.
Fucking 50 Shades of Grey. Glorified abuse right there.
Yep. Those are still on the shelves. 50 Shades of Grey actually has been challenged once or twice in several libraries.
Well, I would appreciate that one because that is perpetuating abuse.
Yeah, that is perpetuating abuse. But in the same sense of it's art. Mm-hmm. It's free speech.
So we're going to be back real quick because we're actually at that time for our break. We'll be back with Future Me On This Day in History. Welcome back to another On This Day in History. Today we're looking at August 9th, starting in 1858, where the Ottoman Empire decriminalized consensual homosexuality, one of the first major countries in the quote-unquote modern era. Ralph Galanti, a sailor from Malta, is thought to be the first person to be arrested for sodomy in California. He serves a 5-year prison sentence and was released on this day. In 1967 UK, English playwright Joe Orton is murdered by his lover Kenneth Halliwell. John Kingsley Joe Orton, born January 1st, 1933, dies 9th August 1967, was an English playwright and author. His public career was short but prolific, lasting from 1964 until his death 3 years later. During the brief period, he shocked, outraged, and amused audiences with his scandalous black comedies. The adjective Orton-esque is sometimes used to refer to work characterized by a similar dark yet farcical cynicism. Kenneth Halliwell bludgeoned 34-year-old Orton to death at his home on 25 Knoll Road in Islington, London, with 9 hammer blows to the head, and then committed suicide from an overdose of 22 Nembutal tablets washed down with the juice from a canned grapefruit. Investigators determined that Halliwell died first because Orton's sheets were still warm. So basically, it's believed that Halliwell died faster than Orton bled out. In 1972, the Ohio Secretary of 1972, the Ohio Secretary of State refuses to grant articles of incorporation to Greater Cincinnati Gay Society. 2 years later, the Ohio Supreme Court upholds the decision, stating that even though the Homosexuals Acts are now legal in Ohio, the promotion of homosexuality as a valid lifestyle is contrary to the public policy of the state of Ohio. 1973, Donald Cawley, New York City Police Commissioner, issues a directive prohibiting police officers from using derogatory terms to refer to homosexuals. That, however, is still not being followed. 1977, in Canada, gay community leaders in Toronto hold a press conference to deplore press coverage of Manuel Jacques' murder, which implicated the entire gay community. 1986, Gay Games 2 opened in San Francisco. The games ran until August 17th that year. The games were billed as 3,482 athletes, 40% women, from 251 cities in 17 countries participating in 17 sporting events. 1996, Oregon Judge Stephen Gallagher Jr. rules that the state must offer benefits to partners of gay state employees. Lon Mayburn, director of the anti-gay Oregon Citizens Alliance, which challenges the governor's executive order to grant benefits, said the ruling aids systematic destruction of the whole notion of family. 1998 in UK, Dr. George Carey, a bishop of Canterbury, issues the apology to the GLB Anglicans for the pain that they experience as a result of the Lambeth Conference of Bishops' resolution against homosexuality. 2000, Dr. Saul Levin was appointed president of the Gay and Lesbian Medical Association, or the GLMA, health professionals advocating LGBT equality. GLMA is an international organization of lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and allies, healthcare professionals, and students of all disciplines, including physicians, advanced nurse practitioners, physician assistants, nurses, behavioral health specialists, researchers, academics, and their supporters. In the United States and internationally, being founded in 1981 as part of the American Association of Physicians for Human Rights. GLMA came out of the closet and changed its name in 1994 to the Gay and Lesbian Medical Association. It changed its name again in 2012 to the GLMA Health Professionals Advocating LGBT Equality. 2004, domestic partnerships registries were opened in Miami, Florida. 2005, in Nepal's police force began rounding up transgender people in a sweep of the capital, Kathmandu. And finally, in 2007, Democratic president candidates appear in front of a forum organized by the gay community. It was televised on Logo and streamed online. Most candidates said they approved civil unions but not gay marriages. Republican homophobe candidates would not agree to a similar forum. 6 Democrats participated in the forum, including Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, while Republican candidates declined. This has been your On This Day in History for August 9th. All right, welcome back. So while we were taking our break,
My mind is blown.
I was messing around with Alex as they were trying to open up their tablet back up.
I'm trying to get my shit together here.
And I just said pickle butter, and they looked at me weird. I'm like, yeah, it's like pickle peanut butter. And then they just looked at me even more confused, and then I said, honey, it's relish.
And I was like, what the fuck?
And think about it.
Yeah.
You just take pickles and make it like peanut butter, essentially just make it relish.
Mind fucking blown.
Do you have anything else you wanted to add to the book thing?
No, that was it.
Okay, I didn't want to make you feel like I cut you off because we were like literally like 30 seconds before the recording was going to automatically stop.
Yeah.
So, we hope you enjoyed On This Day. I haven't recorded it yet.
As of right now.
As of right now. Yeah. Do you want to bring up the next one, or should I bring up the next one?
You bring up the next one.
Okay. So for those of you who don't know, the Community Anti-Drug Coalitions of America has recently been pushing back against Chuck Schumer's bill for legalization Some of them have been going in different states to kind of, enforcing things like Sam in Massachusetts, or was it the Safe Act, Massachusetts, or something? They basically want to like make safe marijuana decisions for the state of Massachusetts. But they're going against like home grow and saying things like, oh, if you don't get it from these MSOs, like any small mom and pop, you're getting like stuff with fentanyl in it. Basically what they're alluding to. Yeah, it's bullshit.
It is bullshit.
But anyway, the CADCA, that's what it's short for, has been asking its supporters to oppose the bill Chuck Schumer introduced in the Senate for cannabis. Recently, though, the Black Cannabis magazine, which I will put this picture on our Instagram after this episode's released, made a nice little infographic with all the companies and brands that support the CADCA. And let me tell you, it's not pretty. There's a few of them that kind of make sense. NFL, the only major league sport that doesn't support cannabis use.
Yeah.
Pfizer, Cardinal Health aren't surprising because, they're big pharma companies. They don't want people to use cannabis instead of like their prescription painkillers or whatever.
It'll take money away from them.
Exactly. So I'm not surprised by these people because like it's big pharma bullcrap. I'm not surprised to see them on there.
Sky's blue, the grass is green. What the fuck else is new?
But Scholastic and Krispy Kreme?
What? The fuck?
Scholastic and Krispy Kreme are on this list.
Oh my gosh. Krispy Kreme, I'm surprised at you.
Yeah, a lot of people on Twitter are. They're like, oh, I just did a stoner Krispy Kreme run. Oh no.
God damn it. Now I want Krispy Kreme. They taste good.
We're not getting them anymore. Fuck them.
them.
So the full list goes Belson Taylor Inc., and this is from the CADCA's website. Alkermes, Auburn Pharmaceutical, Barclays, Bryan Cave LLP, Cardinal Health, Charon Treatment Centers, Consumer Health Products Association, Deloitte, DELOITTE, I guess.
I have no idea.
Deutsche Bank Securities Inc., Direct TV, Elv Associates, Endo Pharmaceuticals, Ernst & Young LLP, Faegre BD Consultant, Gannett Company Inc., the General Board of Church and Society of the United Methodist Church, Goldman Sachs and Company, which fuck you, Goldman Sachs. You're part of the reason why we have a housing crisis right now, so go fuck yourselves first off. Green Room Communications, Healthcare Management Distribution Association, IMN Solutions in Denver, Johnson and fucking Johnson, Kest and Company Incorporated, Krispy Kreme Donut Corporation, the Mallinckrodt Pharmaceutical, Miami Lucan, National Football League, Pfizer Consumer Health. One is literally just called Pharma. It's capital P, lowercase h, capital RMA. Positive Promotions, Price Waterhouse Cooper, Purdue Pharma LP, Quarles and Brady, Rope and Gray LLP, RWJF Special Contributions Fund of the Princeton Area Community Foundation. Why do you gotta have such a big, ridiculous long name?
What the hell is up with these people?
Ryman Hospitality Properties Inc., Scholastic Inc., Sydney and Austin LLP, Scandin Arp Slate Meyer and Flom, FLOM, Flom LLP, Southeast Missouri State University, fuck you guys, Tarleton Downs and Young, the Moyer Foundation, the Truth Initiative,
fuck them, and
Watchtel Lipton Rosen and Katz is the KATZ. And the Truth Initiative, big fucking shocker, is those same people that put on don't smoke cigarettes on like, the internet, and don't smoke e-cigarettes, you'll get addicted to nicotine thing. When we all know that's backed by big fucking companies like Marlboro and everything.
Mm-hmm.
because that's the only way they're going to advertise, and they know do reverse psychology
Because
on
they aren't
kids.
allowed to advertise anywhere else anymore.
And they're using big reverse psychology methods. We all know the Truth Initiative is not fucking stopping cigarettes.
Exactly.
We all know it's funded by Big Tobacco.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourselves.
Exactly. Fuck off. Two-faced lying ass bitches to the big tobacco company. Fuck you guys.
And it's sad. Now, a lot of these being big pharmaceutical companies, big fucking surprise. Big fucking surprise, because they want to keep you addicted to opioids. They want you to be addicted to painkillers. They're the reason why the opioid epidemic fucking started, because they realized, oh, we can't prescribe heroin anymore. Let's make opiums.
And they have money. They're getting money. They're like, oh, this person put their money in my back pocket, so I have to prescribe their medication this month.
That was it for that topic. It was basically just a big fuck you to the CADCA and all those companies that follow it.
And your stupid fucking mouthful of an acronym, also.
Yeah.
By the way.
My jaw hurts.
I'm so sorry. Oh, my goodness. Shifting gears here. Let's go back to some LGBT stuff, because I have some LGBT stuff, which usually doesn't happen. You got the weed stuff, so that's cool. I know that if you've been on TikTok, there was a joke of like a movie about, a horror movie, and it would be non-binary would they slash them, right?
Yeah.
It happened. It was a real thing. And I found the movie. It is on my to watch list, and it is I can't remember. I think it says in the article. Oh, it's Peacock. Found it on Peacock. It's on my to watch list. But Kevin Bacon was in the movie.
Nice.
And he spoke out about what it was like to work on the cast with the LGBT co-stars. And this is a People magazine article. Kevin Bacon felt, quote, sense of pride working with young LGBTQ co-stars on They Them, and he's very moved. He thinks it was the timing was really good for a movie like this, he told People magazine. And They Slash Them is a Peacock original movie that's an LGBTQ themed horror movie set at a conversion camp. So possible triggers for people. Throwing that, just letting you know.
Now this is speculation. I've only seen the trailer. From what I've seen, it seems like these group of kids get forced to go to conversion therapy camp, and this non-binary spirit is taking revenge on the camp itself, is my guess. The one thing I'm worried about is it's going to be the big bad evil person is a queer person. So I'm hoping it's not like super bad. I hope it's basically being like, oh, gay kids are safe. It's the counselors that are in trouble.
Yeah. But yeah, there's really like some good quotes in this article from him about the movie, like what it was like to work on the movie. While I was really in the headspace of the character, there was also a part of me that was feeling very moved by the fact that here was this group of young people who identify in all different kinds of ways, who have come together and who are going to be represented in this film, hopefully in a way that they haven't often been in the past. The horror movie industry is so horrible for that.
Yeah, and that's what I'm worried about with the whole there's a spirit killing. I'm worried that it's going to be like, oh, it's like, the whole it's a like the whole transphobic stuff with certain killers in the past, where they've basically been like either a cross-dresser or a trans woman, and basically kind of been this like whole vilified, twisted way of, oh, this person's kind of can be construed as trans, so we're gonna make this person the bad guy and kind of push that narrative that trans people are bad because here's this killer who
toting the trans people as the boogeyman.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like he's just super hyped about the whole thing, and it's just super cool to see that. Like, it caught my eye, and that movie caught my eye too, and I wanted to talk about it too. It's just it looks cool, and
I like Kevin Bacon too as an actor.
Curious. I'm not quite sure how you would do, because I know you don't do well with like psychological horrors. This definitely seems like a psychological horror.
So you should watch it.
I should watch it.
If I can watch it, and then if I can watch it, we should update everybody about it.
And we should watch it together and update everyone about it. Yes.
Or you and Mia can watch it,
yes.
And Mia can be on the show again and talk about it.
Bring Mia on, and them and I will talk about things. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. Like, definitely go check it out. I think that's when did it actually come out? I think it came out on the 5th. I found it. It did. It came out the 5th. I found it the day it came out.
Okay.
The morning of it coming out. Actually, I was just flipping through our Roku. No, it was an ad. Roku popped it up as an ad that it just came out, and I clicked on it.
I remember seeing the ad on TikTok.
Yeah, I was so excited about it. But yeah, definitely go check that out. Kevin Bacon likes it and is in it, and if he has good things to say about it, it should be a good movie. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But yeah, we will definitely update you.
Yeah. Was there any more to that?
No, that was just it.
All right. Well, shifting gears into a co-weed gay one. Brittany Griner. I want to say it's Griner. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. For those of you who don't know, or be keeping up with the news, she is a WNBA player. I think for the team in Phoenix. She was caught in an airport in Russia with 2 vape cartridges.
Is this the peanut butter vape cartridges? In the peanut butter?
No, that was in the Pittsburgh airport.
Oh, okay, that was Pittsburgh. Sorry.
No, that's all right. She's national news. Like, this is like an international incident because it's an American captured or arrested in a Russian jail right now.
I still don't understand how I have not heard about this. I totally have been oblivious to the news.
You keep
it makes
away
me very
from the
depressed.
News. That's why.
I like to hear my news through you, because you look at it and then you're like, "Here, Alex."
So she was basically found with 2 cannabis vape cartridges in her bag, and it was arrested. Now, it's not uncommon for those in the NBA and WNBA to have cannabis products, especially because of all the pain and everything that playing the sport, the hard impacts of the jumps and everything. It's not uncommon, and that's why, like, the NBA and WNBA allow them to have cannabis products. She must have forgot it. She must have forgot it in her bag, rushing to pack, and it's sad because, like, they don't get paid well enough, like the NBA, so they have to go to overseas, like, tournaments and events and everything. And just happened to get caught with it, probably just rushing from like a game to the airport to get to Russia.
Yeah.
But on Thursday, that just happened, this previous Thursday, Brittany was found guilty and sentenced to 9 years in a Russian prison. President Joe Biden stated on Griner's sentencing is one more reminder of what the world already knew. Russia is wrongfully detaining Brittany, end quote. The State Department classified Griner as a wrongfully detained person and maintained the designation even after she pled guilty to make it easier for herself, which she was told by representatives and everything, even here on the States.
Yeah.
To the cannabis charge. Quote, it is unacceptable, and I call on Russia to release her immediately so she can be with her wife, loved ones, friends, and teammates, Biden said. My administration will continue to work tirelessly to pursue every plausible avenue to bring Brittany and Paul Whelan, who is serving a 16-year sentence over alleged espionage in Russia, home as safely as possible. But why was Brittany arrested in the first place? Cannabis is illegal across the board in Russia. It is federally illegal in the Russian government. The law states, however, possession up to 6 grams or 2 grams of 6 grams of flour or 2 grams of hashish or hash is an administratable offense and punishable by a fine or detention of 15 days. Possessions of larger amounts is a criminal offense. But Brittany only had 2 used vape cartridges, and at most was 2 grams of cannabis. So that doesn't make sense with Russian law.
So fishy.
Many speculate this is due to the increasing tension between the United States and Russia as we send more and more funds to support Ukraine, Russia's current enemy in its current war.
Mm-hmm.
Some, like myself, believe that Russia is using this as a political move against the United States to kind of stop them from, funding Ukraine. But also, Russia is demanding a trade to reduce her prison sentence or get her out.
What do they want?
They want 2 specific people. And this is just for Brittany. This doesn't even talk about the other guy. This is just for Brittany, what they're demanding. there is an arrested assassin by the name of Vadim Krezov, a colonel in the former KGB unit of Soviet Russia, who is currently in German custody, and they're trying to get us to get him out through Germany. And there's this whole big mess with that because we don't have any control.
Do we
over
look
that.
like Germany?
No.
Then what the fuck do they want?
And an international arms dealer by the name of Victor Bout, who we have arrested. He's also known as the dealer of death. He's like a huge international arms dealer and like kind of illegal in some areas,
Jesus.
like wanted. But this brings a lot of issues for us here in the States as well. A lot of people see how hard we're fighting to get Brittany out, and we 1,000,000% should get her out. There's no reason she should be in there. But there's people, every like GOP politicians who are against cannabis saying we need to get her out, but then they're saying Russia's unfair and has disgusting laws and sentencing for her to be in there for 9 years, while they are in the same breath allowing and passing laws that are okay to keep people in our jails here in the States for just the same amount of time or with minimum sentencing longer than it is that Brittany got here in the United States for an eighth of weed.
Hot calling the kettle black.
Exactly. And a lot of people are calling them out, including Normal has called a lot of people and Joe Biden out for this.
Good grief.
It is. Joe Biden says he will do whatever he can to get her out, but still has done nothing with his campaign promise to get those who are in jail for non-violent cannabis charges out of jail. That was his campaign promise.
Yeah. I was about to bring that up. I was thinking about that while you were talking about how hard. He's like, we definitely need to get Brittany out. I'm like, okay, this was part of your campaign thing. You were like, yo,
yeah,
I am pro people's choice to choose, and I'm also pro cannabis. And I'm like, what are you doing for either one right now?
But then, after he got elected, he's like, well, I want to make sure the science is there because I still think it's a gateway drug. That was in year 1 of his presidency, and recently, like before Brittany got her jail sentencing, but after she pled already guilty, which was like a couple weeks ago, he said we're working on something when people asked him about it because we're all seeing this on the international stage, the hypocrisy of the United States, because we're trying like hell to get a prisoner in an overseas jail, but the moment that like they were going to go somewhere like say Texas, she would have gotten like 15 years in jail for pretty much the same thing because fuck Texas.
Yeah.
It is hypocritical and disgusting. So what I foresee happening is it's already starting a conversation, but the moment she gets back, it's going to start a huge conversation, like a landslide conversation of, okay, we got her out. Now, how about we face the mirror real quick and talk about
we turn around and face the fucking music, and now what are we going to do? Are we going to follow our example we set in this situation, or was that ultimately just to get Russia off our back because you were funding the Ukraine and it was a war thing instead of a cannabis thing?
Yeah, because it's an American is detained in not our jails. Oh no, we got to get her back because that's money out of our private jail system.
We gotta bring her back so we can put her in our jail so we can get the money for her.
That's what it's basically summing up to be. It is this bullcrap, hypocritical fucking system we have in this goddamn country.
It's fucking ridiculous. I'm so sick of it.
But like it needs to have a conversation, and we are seeing that more and more online. And places like us and our podcast are talking about it. A lot of people are talking about it on Twitter, and it needs to be talked about because how are we going to fight tooth and nail, especially the GOP? The conservatives, like even like I'm pretty sure Marjorie Taylor Greene has said we need to get her out. As an American, she needs to be home. The Nazi has fucking said when she needs to be home.
Jesus.
And don't quote me on that. That's just a guess, but I feel like she would say something like that. I don't follow her too much on her shit because she gives me an aneurysm.
Didn't you fucking block Elon Musk for the same reason?
Oh my god, yes.
I swear to God, he's
no,
on
but I keep majoring Tyler Green because it's more of I need to make people aware of the horrors of someone who's calling themselves a Christian nationalist versus someone who's basically trying to cling on relevancy and meme culture and basically being like, oh, I'm going to have the Cybertruck out here in another 2 years.
And if you
even though it's been 5 years since I promised its release.
And if you look at his Twitter, he's on something. His Twitter is just, he's the ramblings of either a mad or a high man.
It's like that sad not even college, that sad high school boy who's trying to stay relevant in everyone's Snapchats, but failing super hard and he's super cringy.
Even Zuckerberg didn't try this hard. He just dropped off the fucking face. You don't hear about him much anymore. He stopped trying to be relevant.
Yeah, you want to know why? Because Zuckerberg and Elon Musk need to take a picture from MySpace Tom's book.
Yes.
I'm just going to say in your friends list, make sure you're not doing shady shit, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's it, dude.
But then MySpace is fucking sell out now, so.
No, they've been sold out. Once Yahoo bought them. In like 2008.
Still shocks me Yahoo's still around too.
But like, it's horrible. Like, we're gonna see this big, I'm already gonna see it. It's just gonna keep building and building of why are we fighting to get her out but not helping the people here? And what it boils down is the war on drugs, which was started with racism from Henry Anslinger, basically being like, well, I lost prohibition of alcohol. I need something to control people, keep my fucking panties in a wad and everything. And what do people hate? People from Mexico. What do they smoke? Oh, weed. All right. Let's fucking use that. And then Nixon, with his fucking war on drugs and using it, and literally the start of the official war on drugs, for using it against his political party with people rising up for civil rights and the hippies because, hey, guess what? They smoke weed. But if we stereotype them for smoking weed, we can just arrest them to stop their political parties, to stop their movements, to stop, trying to demand equal rights and fucking get out of the shithole system we're in and try, because every fucking uprising, the reason we have rights to begin with is because we literally threw bricks and fucking rioted.
And that's what's going to happen here soon again.
Ugh. I'm good. I'm done. I'm done with my rant.
Okay.
I am done. It's just, we need to get this conversation rolling. And we need to call people out. So, do you have anything you want to add, honey?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Well,
that was a very soapbox episode.
Yeah.
We didn't put it away.
No.
It just appeared out of nowhere.
It just stayed.
There it is.
Well, I guess we should end it then. Once again, my name is Rayven. I use she, her pronouns.
I'm Alex. I use they, them pronouns.
And we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Bye.
Rayven here. I just wanted to make a little ad for our Patreon that we started. First and foremost, all the funds generated with this Patreon is going to go directly back into the podcast, whether that's better equipment so we can make better sounding episodes, give you guys really cool stuff like stickers, pictures, nice little trinkets from us, or be able to travel to places where there is legal weed or there's certain LGBT communities that we want to interact with and talk to, and potentially have some really cool guests come on the show. Now, right now our Patreon is bare bones, and I do apologize with that, but we hope to make it a little better as time goes on. Right now we have 3 tiers: flour, vape cartridges, and concentrates. Flour is $3 per month. Vapes is $6 per month, and concentrates is $9 per month. With flour, you get access to our Discord, the Skittle Zone, a private Discord that we have for you guys to kind of interact with each other and potentially interact with us. We have things for like different aspects of the cannabis community and LGBT community where you guys can talk to and kind of just interact with each other and learn from each other, and learn with us. But you also get early access to these episodes. You get a day or two, basically immediately after I'm done editing the episode, I am putting it on the Patreon so you guys can listen to it early. With vape, you have everything from the flour, but you also have access to the private chat room in the Discord server for one-on-one discussions and questions for us. You'll have the ability to basically be, hey, I have a question about this certain thing, and we'll answer it at the end of every episode. We won't get to everyone all at the same time, obviously, but we'll spread it out through the month and be able to get to as many questions as we can. And then with the concentrates, you get everything from flower and vape, but you also get behind the scenes looks at what we do here. I'll show like what I'm editing and like maybe little sound files or like little clips of what we're working on. Our show notes, so you get to see that early, potentially, knowing what topics we're going to be talking about on this next episode. Pictures of stuff in and outside of the recording stuff, like things like cannabis festivals. We'll take pictures and post some of them online, but with the behind the scenes access, you get to see all of that. Basically, all the dumb faces we make at each other, all the cool stuff that we see, and all the cute things that we find. It's my hope with this Patreon that we'll be able to go far and wide and hopefully be able to see some of you guys or have some live shows in the future where you guys can come and interact with us. And obviously no pressure. I just want to make sure that you guys are aware of this, and first and foremost, take care of you guys yourselves. If you don't have money to support it, or if something happens you have to stop, we totally understand. Thanks.